Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is Monday and I wanted to start the week off by hanging out with you all. I want to bring you what I realistically read in a week. Every day I'm going to jump on and talk about what I'm reading, what I've read, and just kind of continue to give you updates each day. There are a few ways that I keep track of my books. I have a Storygraph account, I have a Goodreads account, but both of those things I struggle to keep up with daily input. My Goodreads account is connected to my Kindle, so anytime I finish a book there, it does end up getting marked on Goodreads, but I'm not putting my daily pages read in there. So I started a physical tracker at the start of this month. I am a Erin Condren planner user for the past couple years now, but I never figure out what I'm supposed to do with my calendar page. So I thought that was perfect this month. I would take these pages, and I'll be sure to give you some good footage of them, and mark off every day what I'm reading and how many pages I read of those books. And so this is a true reading page tracker guide for me. When I get to the end of the month, the stats on my apps will only tell me the books that I've finished. So it's only the pages of books I've finished. But my reading doesn't always happen in the month. I might start a book in one month, finish it in another. So what happens to those pages? When do they get counted? Because if I finish them in the next month, I technically didn't read all those pages. So this is my way of trying to get a true daily page counter. I will go through what I read last week. So to start off today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my reading habits. I'm going to walk you through what I read the first week of September, and then I'll go through what I plan on reading this week and what I read today. A little bit more about my reading habits. I read a lot on the weekend, but I'm also a morning reader. I really like to wake up in the morning. I typically get up before the alarm and I'll go for my Kindle. And this is great for me because I used to wake up in the mornings and I would immediately go for my phone and I would scroll Reddit. And it just wasn't good. It wasn't a good way to start the day. And I noticed, what was I doing on Reddit? I was reading other people's stories. So thinking about that, it's like, okay, I don't want trash in the morning. I want a story, or I want my brain to be put into something that I enjoy. So reading has been really helpful for me in the mornings. I read about 25 pages of Zodiac Academy 7, that's Heartless Sky, this morning. Literally, I read up until I got to the next chapter, which was Lionel's point of view, and I was like, nope, I'm out. Anyone else not like to read about the bad guy? Just me. Just me. The other times that I really like to read are actually in this time that we're in right now, this mid-afternoon time, but I can't always read during the days. So I find myself reading the most on the weekend, and that's when I take down 100, 200, 300 pages, unless I'm like really good into a book and I will just like finish them there. I remember a few months ago, I was reading the Boys of Tommen books, The Binding and Keeping 13. I was reading those during the week, so I ended up like a Wednesday. It was like a Wednesday one week, and then 2 weeks later, a Thursday I read a ton. But I keep it pretty light during the week. I'll go through my page count last week. September 1st was a Sunday, so I'm going to do my weeks Sunday to Saturday because it makes sense. I read 94 pages on Sunday, 53 pages Monday, 35 pages Tuesday, 59 pages on Wednesday, 250 on Thursday, 137 on Friday, and then I wrapped up the week on Saturday with 303 pages, leaving my weekly total to be 931 pages, and I finished up one book. I have my pages marked from yesterday, but I didn't do the math, so I'll let you guys know those later. And I'm doing this What I Read in a Week challenge to also give myself another little challenge. The two things that I'm doing this week are I am filming a different YouTube video or filming for YouTube every single day this week. But then I also want to make sure that I am editing for at least an hour every single day. At this point, I have 4 full videos to edit. I shot a video today and I'm in the middle of this one. So I really don't want to get too behind on the footage that I have, and I want to make editing a daily occurrence. So I'm going to push myself this week to try for an hour every single day. So I actually have a little bit of time right now, and so I'm going to go in and start another book. This is one of the books for my TBR jar challenge, and that is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a series. This is a YA thriller series. I'm trying to find it so we can open it together. We're letting it download. There we go. Maybe. This is a book that is 321 pages. I have been reading YA pretty quick, but this being a thriller, I don't read a lot of thriller. I don't know what my pacing will be like. But let's dive in. I made it through the first part of The Naturals, and when I started the book, I saw some of the other books that Jennifer Lynn Barnes has written, and she is the author of The Inheritance Games, which has been on my TBR for a while, so this was a really cool pick for me. This book is, our main character is, her name is Cassie. She's 17 years old, and she has this natural gift in which she can read people, she can read situations really well, and she's always had an eye for detail. She is approached when she's working her job at a diner, and it is an FBI agent looking to get in contact with her so she can potentially join a task force of teenagers who have special gifts like her. The FBI is training them in hopes that they can help with some cold cases and also be trained into adulthood and continue to be an asset for the FBI. So in the first part, you had 2 points of view. You had Cassie and her story, and then every few chapters you would have a story like point of view called You, and it sounded like the You part was one of the serial killers that Cassie might have to discover in her cold cases, and it's definitely giving a thriller element. I mentioned earlier, I'm not really a big thriller reader, so a nice YA, I think it'll be scary enough, but not too scary that I have nightmares. I really like our female main character, and I got through the first 50 pages really quick. I'm on page 55 now. I read for about 45 minutes, and it's good. I unfortunately have to put my book down, but I wanted to update you. That leaves me having read 80 pages so far for the day, which is really good for me for a Monday. The other thing I mentioned earlier that I'm going to make sure I'm doing is spending an hour editing for YouTube every day. So it's 5 o'clock and I'm going to sit down and get that done. Right now, I'm in the middle of editing my Fall in Love with Football Challenge Part 3. I'm in the middle of the rough edit where I keep all of the video that I want. I audio balance everything and then color correct each clip, and I'll start to add audio, and then I'll make notes of the graphics that I want to make and make those in Canva, and then go in after all of my video is cut and add my Canva graphics where I need them to be. For a little bit of context, I started filming that first clip at 5:22. It is now 6:38 and I finished up my video. So I also edited for the hour I said I was going to edit for. So that's really cool. I am going to sign off for the night, but I will see you lovelies in the morning. Hello and happy Tuesday. I showed you a little bit of what I was up to earlier today. I started off my day like I usually do by taking Roman to the park. He had so much fun on his big rock. And then I sat down, did a little editing. I published a YouTube video today. That was the part 3 of my Fall in Love with Football challenge. I'm having a lot of fun with that. I have 4 already filmed. The game was on Sunday, so that really added to my page count. On Sunday I read a good bit to try to hit that challenge goal. I remember yesterday I told you I was going to let you know how many pages I ended up reading on Sunday, and I finally did the calculations. That was 266 pages, and that was, like I mentioned, because of the challenge. I finished up a Tessa Bailey book, Fix Her Up, which is the first book in the Hot and Hammered series. I actually picked up the second book at the library, and I was just going to read it, but before I did, I checked Kindle Unlimited and Fix Her Up was there. So I could start the series off, and I'll continue on with that second book, which is escaping me right now, later on this week. You saw me yesterday start The Naturals, which is a YA book by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I don't remember if I mentioned this, but I didn't know until, or rather I didn't remember, that she's the author of the Inheritance Games, which has been on my TBR for a while now. So it's this TBR, this no buy TBR challenge is a really great way for me to dip my toes into her writing. Today I also took a bath. It was fantastic. I did a little workout, and then I read 27 pages of the Zodiac Academy Heartless Sky. I mentioned this, but I'm reading this book 25 pages at a time, and when I looked back at my reading count, literally 25, actually less. It was 15 pages on Sunday. I read 28 pages yesterday, and I've read 27 pages so far. So that's really funny. So yesterday I did, like I mentioned, I read 28 pages of Zodiac Academy. So 25 of those pages you had already seen, but I read 3 pages last night. I was just so tired, and if you know, you know, it was Lionel's point of view, and I'm just so disinterested in him that I didn't want to finish it, but I did finish it today. And when I finished it today, it was funny because it was I don't want to spoil anything, but it was a worth it chapter to read, even if it was from the bad guy's point of view. and we're continuing to get into deeper into this story. It's a lot of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I think we're gonna hit a point and oof, all this stuff is gonna go down, and I'm scared. I'm literally scared for when all the stuff goes down, but we're getting there. And right now I am going to keep the pause I have on reading Zodiac Academy, and I'm going to jump back into the naturals. It's almost 7 o'clock now. I admittedly did get a little distracted earlier with some editing and then TikTok, but posting to TikTok, so I don't know. Is it better? Probably not. I only ended up reading 20 pages. It was like a few chapters actually of the naturals. And I hate that it's my Kindle edition is really touchy, and it keeps putting me back to the homepage. So that's annoying, but I was on page 75. The story is starting to pick up a little bit. I think I know rather, it's a really, the story is starting to pick up a bit. It's a really easy read. Jennifer Lynn Barnes does a really great job of just creating a story that's easy to fall into. I remember that yesterday, the first 50 pages just went down so incredibly quick. I don't know if I'll come back to this tonight. I was reading while I was finishing cooking dinner, but now I'm at that point where I cannot anymore. And as you know, I only read 3 pages last night, so I don't know if I will pick up a book again tonight, but I will be sure to check in tomorrow. Hello and happy Wednesday. It is about 4 o'clock, and I've actually been super busy reading today. I got to a part in Zodiac Academy 7, The Heartless Sky, where I just needed to keep going. And so I've already read 147 pages today, which is awesome, but I am going to tear myself away and do the editing I promised myself that I was going to keep doing all week. But I had to, of course, jump on and update you. Last night, I didn't do much reading, maybe a few pages after I last checked in with you guys. So I did end up finishing 57 pages, which is typical for my during the week page total. I will say I'm not feeling a pressure to read like I might have thought I was going to feel filming every single day, trying to track what I realistically read. Because I guess I just want to keep it real, which has been nice. The speed of how I read comes in the moods of how I feel. Like, do I feel like reading? I feel like I see a lot of people talk about being mood genre readers. I'm like more of a read amount mood reader. Like, there are some days I'll just read and read and read, and others I'm like, okay, few pages, that's good for me. So today's just one of those days. I've also been working on a creative project that I'll show you a little bit of. I have been doing a little book journaling in my bullet journal, but I don't have anything, I don't have like a dedicated one. I've just been doing some practice spreads, but I decided it was time for me to build a 2024 bookshelf, and I'm actually pretty happy about the way it's coming along. I just have it really sketched out in pencil right now. And then I'm going to go in and put the titles of all of the books that I've read so far, and then I'm going to color code them. which will be nice. So then I'll have some stats. And I haven't decided what I'm going to color code them by. There's a couple things I could track here. I could track if they were physical books, or I could track where I had them, if I own them. I could track by genre. The world is truly my oyster. So I'm excited. That's actually what I was doing before. But my creative project is going to wait because I'm going to take you back to my desk and I'm going to get some more editing done. Happy Thursday, my friends. It is just after 5 o'clock and it is challenge night tonight. I have another football game to take on, and I am afraid I've done myself a bit of a disservice going into the game because I reached another spot in the Zodiac Academy book and I really couldn't put it down today. So I did end up reading more last night. I ended up finishing up 160 pages in total, which was great. Today, I have already read 170 pages of Heartless Sky, and I'm super close to the end. I have about 100 pages to go, so I'm definitely going to finish that today, but I need to stop because I can't keep reading hundreds of pages before I try to read 200 pages tonight. So, if you haven't seen any of my Fall in Love with Football challenge videos, I have been coinciding my reading challenges with the Miami Dolphins football games in hopes that I, kind of improve my love for football, but also I just love to take on a challenge. So every week while the Dolphins play, I've been trying to take down a different page count. So tonight I'm going to try to take down 200 pages. It's something that I've done before during the challenges, so I'm really hoping that both teams, me and the Dolphins, come out with a win tonight. We'll see. So I'm trying to not read. I have pretty good incentive. I'm going to sit down and do my editing for the day because I haven't, and I also need to make dinner before the game. I'll also probably put makeup on. I don't know why. Sometimes I come as I am, and other times I'm like, yeah, let's put some makeup on. The other exciting thing I have is something I've been waiting a while for. A few months ago when I read the Boys of Tommen series, I fell in love. And I thought I was a little bit late to the party, but then I saw Barnes & Noble was releasing their own special edition, and I literally bought it the weekend it came out. It finally released this week. I should have said I pre-bought it, and it's here. So I wanted to unbox it with you all. Some book mail. Can I hit the poll right? Maybe not on camera. There we go. Okay. And oh gosh, it's beautiful. These are my colors too. I mean, if you already can't tell from all my clothing and channel branding. Oh, wow. Okay, so it does have a sticker. I'm gonna have to peel that off. Okay, it's definitely not the copy I would have picked at the store, but it traveled a very long way to me, and it's really not that beat up at all. So this was a Bloom special edition Barnes & Noble exclusive release of Finding 13. It has an extended scene in here. It also has lilac sprayed edges. They are so beautiful and subtle. They almost, they come up on camera like they're a lilac pink. Yeah, they are very, very, very pretty. This is a 611 pages with all of the extras at the end. The covers have like, I noticed this online, they have doodles. Oh my goodness. And then in the front cover, yeah, it's like a library card. I didn't know if it was going to actually be a library card, but it's just a printout of one. It's so beautiful. Wow. I'm super excited for this. Oh, okay. So when I was just scrolling, did I not see a... I don't know what the bonus scenes are in here. I originally read Binding 13 on my Kindle. I read it on Kindle Unlimited, and even though I have all of the rest of the series yet, I only have read Keeping 13. I read like the most emotional parts of Keeping 13 literally the day they came because I wanted to see if it was still as good as it was the first time. And I thought it was. So I think this one will be too. My only hesitation is that I don't think I want to annotate this copy. I think if I'm going to annotate a copy of Binding 13, I'm going to have to just get like a general version of it because this one is just too pretty. And I don't think I want to write in it. I'm really kind of new to annotating books, and yeah, I don't know, have feelings about this one, but it's exciting. I wonder if I'll start reading this tonight, actually. I have 2 rereads on my plate. I have been kicking around a Fallen Crest reread, even though I read Fallen Crest High like a few months ago during another challenge. I want to read the whole series again before Cade comes out at the end of the year. So maybe I read some of that, but have to watch that video to see what I ended up reading. But yeah, for me, going to edit, and I will check in with you guys after my football challenge because I will give you my final page update. So I'll see you much later. It's a late one, but I just wanted to give you my final update. It is just after 11 o'clock. I ended up finishing Zodiac Academy 7, Heartless Sky. It was a lot. Like a lot. I was reading it earlier in the day and I had cried, and then honestly all hell broke loose. Like I don't you if you've read the book, the last 100 pages, like I thought I was gonna save them for my challenge. I would just eat through them. I would be so excited to read, I would just speed through, but it was so tragic. I read so slow. I was so just like sucked into destruction. I think literally the first words I spoke were is so much carnage. So I naturally had to start 8, which is Sorrow and Starlight. Help. So far I have read 298 pages today. That's a big one. I am going to continue reading, but I don't think I'll read for that much longer. I did have an 8 o'clock coffee, so I'm contributing that to the extra energy. But we'll persevere, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. It was so much fun. I crushed some page totals. I'll have them up here for you. And my final weekly page count. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great day.